party at Phil's house today?
He's certainly feeling vindicated. I mean, you know, he's been raging against the machine for a long time of professional golf, and you know that it was this sort of antiquated model where the PGA Tour was this 501c3 nonprofit. They couldn't take an outside investment, they couldn't sell equity, and that he felt like golfers and every stakeholder in the game was losing out on the real big money. And he was right, for sure. I mean, this has proven it. And, you know, it came at a high cost reputationally for Phil, but he, you know, he cashed in, he took the money up front, and he owns a LIV franchise. And there's a lot of details that still need to be worked out, but the LIV golf model of having these teams is not going to go away. And so the players who own these franchises, those values just skyrocketed because all of a sudden you're going to get all the best players together in these joint events. They're going to be televised on the major networks, not on CW or not on YouTube. So the TV money is going to flow, the exposure, the corporate sponsorships, and you know, to your earlier point, like there's this uneasiness about doing business with Saudi Arabia, even though everyone does it. I mean, the biggest tour sponsors have huge interest. PGA Tour sponsors have huge interest in Saudi Arabia, whether it's FedEx or Coca-Cola or Morgan Stanley. They all do business over there, but it's been sort of on the down low, and this is going to change that. It's like all of a sudden the official stamp of approval in the world of golf has been granted to do business. So the value of these LIV franchises is going to be what they always hoped it would be. And so a guy like Phil, who owns, you know, a big chunk of his team, and Bryson and Brooks Koepka and Dustin Johnson, I mean, they're getting paid coming and going. They got the money to sign. Now they're going to make the money on the franchises. So the players who stayed loyal to the PGA Tour are losing out both ways. So
then describe to me here, because this is, I think, the most confusing aspect to so many fans in the first blush moments of this stunning news that the LIV Tour and the PGA Tour are going to join forces after the PGA Tour said, you know, never. So are you saying that there's going to be some PGA Tour events, they'll decide which ones they are, that are just going to be LIV Tour, and it's going to be the same branding but under the PGA Tour umbrella? Anyone can join a team. There's going to be a team aspect. Like, how does this work?
Yeah, well, so many details are unknown, but it's not going to be a LIV or a Tour event. It's going to be this new entity. They haven't even named it yet. So it's going to be a whole third rail. You'll have your traditional PGA Tour events in Phoenix and in Pebble Beach and all those places. But then there was already going to be contraction of the PGA Tour schedule because as the tours devoted more and more money and attention to the biggest names and the glitziest events, they were losing sponsorships, and these sort of B-list events were going to wither and blow away anyway. So now what's going to happen, those spots that open up on the calendar, they're going to plug in these new events, you know, whatever they're called, LIV/Tour, and the players are going to be able to flow back and forth. So how that's going to be very contentious, how they're going to who the gatekeeper is going to be and how that's going to play out. That's going to take a long time to figure out. But basically, you know, if Rory doesn't want to play in those, that's his choice. But I think you can expect all the top players are going to go to these events, and it's going to be sort of this super schedule where you have the elevated PGA Tour events, and then you have this new tour within a tour that's going to have the team component. And so there'll be all the best LIV players, and there'll be some of the best PGA Tour players. And as a golf fan, I think it's a huge win. You're just going to get all the, you know, because the way that the tours have been separated, they're only coming together now 4 times a year at the majors. That's what made the Masters and the PGA Championship so electric. You have the LIV guys against the Tour guys. Well, now they're going to be mixing a lot more often, and I'm in the minority here, but I've enjoyed the team aspect on LIV. I think it's been cool, and you know, everyone had to pretend to hate it because you had to pick a side, and modern life is so polarizing. You can't see any nuance, and so all the Tour loyalists said, "Oh, the team stuff's lame," and LIV. But it's been, if you got into it, it's been fun to follow. And so now, I mean, the last thing we need is more 72-hole stroke play events. Like, the PGA Tour is so tedious; it's the same thing week after week. So these new events, whatever they're called, will just bring a whole different dimension to it. You'll have these built-in rivalries, and LIV has already, very cleverly created these team identities with one team's all Australian, one's all South African, one is all Asian, one is Latin American. And so you get these built-in rooting interests. And so now you add the friction of bringing together the tour loyalists and the LIV guys. And I think, if you can set aside your qualms about where the money's coming from, and that's not easy for a lot of people, and I understand, as a golf fan, I think your life just got better. And instead of having, the John Deere Classic with no stars in it, you're going to get these mega combined events with a different format. And I think it has a chance to be really, really exciting and impactful. And just speaking as a golf consumer.
Catch the Rich Eisen Show every single day on the Roku channel, 12 to 3 Eastern, for free.